Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. Hope you got a good cup of coffee and your Bible with you. I was off for about 11 days taking care of my grandchildren, and it was a lot of fun, but it was very busy. But I'm eager to be back now, looking at the Gospel of Mark. It was a good place for us to leave off because I read somebody one time who was a Bible scholar, that said that Mark just put enough information about Jesus' life before Passion Week to get him to Passion Week, because Mark's gospel points towards Passion Week, the week that Jesus died on the cross and was raised from the dead. That is the week that Mark points to. And beginning in chapter 9, verse 30, Jesus begins preparing his disciples for his going to Jerusalem to be crucified, what's going to happen. He begins to start going that way. He's got it all planned out that he's going to get there right as Passover begins. And he begins by telling them what's going to happen. And this is what happens in verse 30. It says, they left that place and passed through Galilee. Jesus did not want anyone to know where they were, because he was teaching his disciples. He said to them, the Son of Man, and Son of Man, remember, is a marker for Messiah from the Old Testament. Jesus uses it a lot, especially in Mark, about referring to himself as Messiah. But he says the Son of Man is going to be betrayed into the hands of men. They will kill him, and after 3 days he will rise. But they did not understand what he meant and were afraid to ask him about it. So Jesus starts telling them that, hey, I'm going to die. They're going to kill me. I'm going to be buried. I'm going to be raised from the dead. And they're not understanding, because that's not their view of Messiah. And when they came to Capernaum, remember that's Jesus' headquarters. When he was in the house, he asked them, what were you arguing about on the road? But they kept quiet, because on the way they had argued about who was the greatest. Now, I find this very incredible. Jesus is talking about the cross. He's telling them that he's got to go die. He's telling them about all he's going to go through. And the disciples, at the same time he's teaching them about the cross, they're talking about who's the greatest of the disciples, who's going to be greatest in the kingdom, who's going to be greatest. That just seems fairly ironic with me. I think when we get concerned about the cross, we're not concerned about how great we're going to be, or how great we're going to be remembered, or how great people think we are. That won't matter when we think about the cross. Sitting down, Jesus called the 12 and said, if anyone wants to be first, he must be the very last and the servant of all. He said, if you want to be first, then you got to be last, and you got to be a servant. You got to serve everyone, not just some, everyone. And then he took a little child and had him stand among them. Taking him in his arms, he said to him, whoever welcomes one of these little children in my name welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but the one who sent me. Now, children in the day of Jesus were to be seen, not heard. They were important, but at the same time, their power, their vocalness like that was to be low. They were supposed to, when adults were around talking, they weren't supposed to be there. And Jesus says, if you'll welcome a little child that's unpretentious, a little child who doesn't have a lot of power, a little child who has all these things, if you'll welcome them, then you welcome me. You need to welcome me in the same way. You don't need to be pretentious. You don't need to be desiring to get something. You just need to want to care for them. I mentioned this Sunday in the sermon. My little 2-year-old granddaughter, when we were here, I don't know what possessed her to do it, but just periodically she would come, give me a hug for no reason, and just tell me, I love you. And it was kind of the coolest thing, kind of melted my heart a lot. But that's kind of how we are to be. And she expected nothing for it, nothing about it. But Jesus says you need to become like a little child, and you need to welcome little children like that. Don't worry about how great you're going to be or what's going to happen. Just serve me. So I hope and he's going to start doing teaching now. They're going to start heading towards Jerusalem and getting to Passion Week. But I hope today you'll think about, are you concerned about the cross, which is an instrument of which is death? Will we die to ourself, our ego? Or are we going to be concerned about being great? Are we going to be concerned about, is the waitress going to pay attention to me? Is somebody going to know my name? Is somebody going to quit worrying about yourself so much and worry about being a Jesus follower today? Well, we're back, and I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll pick it up with verse 38. Blessings upon you, and I'll see you tomorrow.